Okay, so most people think turning $100 into a grand is all about, sheer luck, some sketchy crypto scheme, or just hoping to win the lottery. But today we're actually going to look at the realistic mechanics of how to pull this off through smart decisions. We aren't talking about getting rich quick here. We're talking about strategy, patience, and actual actionable steps that literally anyone can take to multiply their capital. So picture this. What if I handed you a crisp $100 bill literally right now? Just pause and really think about it for a second. Put yourself right in the driver's seat of this financial journey. What's your immediate instinct? Do you get this sudden urge to go buy that thing you've been eyeing online? Or do you just kind of tuck it away in a drawer for a rainy day? Honestly, most of us look at $100 and think it's just too little to actually matter. And this right here shows a huge divide between how most people think and how successful minds actually operate. On the left side, we've got the average person's mentality, right? They might just spend it immediately, or at best, save it away where inflation just slowly eats up its value. But over on the right, we see the entrepreneur's mindset. They don't look at their wallet and ask, how much money do I have? Instead, they ask, what is the absolute smartest thing I can do with this money to build something bigger? It's all about opportunity cost, the potential gain you're totally missing out on when you choose to just spend that cash instead of leveraging it.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to map out the journey of your money by hitting 1. The quick money myth. 2. Invest in a skill. 3. Start a side hustle. 4. Reinvest and multiply. And finally, consistency and avoiding mistakes. Let's get into it. All right, starting off with part 1, the quick money myth. Stop seeking fast cash. This is a massive mindset shift you absolutely need to make before you spend a single dime.
We really need to shatter that illusion of making a fortune in a single weekend. Like this quote says, the goal isn't to make money fast. The goal is to build something that can keep growing. This is the whole concept of compound growth, where your initial effort and capital actually start generating their own returns. Look, if you try to force $100 into $1,000 by Friday, you're usually just going to end up losing that initial 100. The desperation for speed is totally the enemy of actual wealth building.
It totally boils down to the gambler versus the investor. The gambler is out there constantly chasing risky trading or these guaranteed profit scams because, well, they want a massive weekend return. Get this, studies actually show that nearly 97% of day traders lose money over time because they treat the market like it's a casino. But on the flip side, successful investors are patiently building real wealth step by step. They know that time is their greatest asset, and they let their money work for them over months and years, not just hours. Moving on to step 2, invest in a skill. Once you've got that patient mindset locked in, this is hands down your highest return. You could actually take that initial $100 and grab a premium course on video editing, graphic design, copywriting, coding, digital marketing, or even mastering new AI tools. Just think about the math for a second. A $50 course on copywriting or basic web design could teach you a skill that lands you a $500 client by next week. I mean, that is a 10x return on investment. That's vastly superior to just throwing $50 into a random stock and crossing your fingers it goes up a few percentage points a year. And that is exactly why skill building is such a game changer. Think about physical items, like expensive shoes or a new phone. They immediately drop in value the second you buy them. Fast forward a month and the novelty is completely gone. But investing in your own brain, that is an asset that never depreciates. The knowledge you gain keeps paying you back over and over again. Once you actually know how to edit a compelling video or write persuasive marketing copy, nobody can ever take that ability away from you. Which brings us to part 3, start a side hustle. You've got the skill, now it's time to actually monetize it and prove you can earn. Look, you absolutely do not need venture capital or some massive bank loan to get this off the ground. You can easily explore highly accessible, super low-risk avenues. We're talking about offering a simple online service, designing a digital product, doing freelance work, selling handmade items, or even creating content. And because you invested in a digital skill, your overhead is basically zero. You're really just trading a bit of your free time to test the waters and see what the market actually values. Now, here's the secret. The primary goal of your new side hustle isn't to make $1,000 on day one. Your only goal is to make one single dollar. Honestly, proving to yourself that you can generate revenue entirely outside of a traditional paycheck is a massive psychological breakthrough. Earning that first dollar independently shifts your whole perspective from being just a consumer in the economy to actually being a producer. It teaches you real practical lessons about pitching, delivering value, and dealing with clients that absolutely no textbook could ever replicate. Okay, step 4, reinvest, and multiply. This is the true wealth engine, and honestly, it's the critical pivot point where a lot of beginners drop the ball. So imagine this. You put in the work, you leveraged your skill, you started the hustle, and boom, you earned your first profit. Huge congrats. You went from 0 to 1. But right at this exact moment, you have a wildly important, highly consequential choice to make about what actually happens to that money next.
This is where we see a massive fork in the road. Beginners see that first bit of profit and they just immediately blow it on a reward. They buy a fancy dinner, a video game, or a new gadget, which basically brings their business bank account right back to zero. But successful entrepreneurs, they do the exact opposite. They treat that first profit as fuel for the fire. They understand the opportunity cost, that spending $100 on dinner today literally cost them the $1,000 that money could have generated if they just put it back into their business.
So what does this reinvestment loop actually look like?
Well, first up, you buy better tools, like professional software, so you can work faster and churn out higher quality results. Second, you learn even more advanced skills so you can offer higher value and actually raise your rates. Third, you optimize your processes. Maybe you pay for a service that automates your invoicing so you save time. Every single dollar you pump back into the business compounds, creating this continuous engine of growth that lets you scale way beyond that initial $100.
Finally, Section 5, consistency and avoiding mistakes. Let's talk about how to scale this over the long haul and dodge those fatal pitfalls that trap so many people.
Just look at the power of a realistic timeline here. Day 1 is purely about learning. It might realistically take you until month 6 to confidently launch that side hustle, and year 1 to really hit a solid rhythm of reinvesting those profits. By year 3, you're actively building multiple income streams so you aren't economically fragile if, say, one client drops off. And by year 5, you gain real, tangible financial flexibility. It's methodical, it's slow, and it's highly secure. Building wealth isn't some overnight sprint, right? It's absolutely a marathon of consistency.
Think of these points as your non-negotiable survival checklist. First, never ever believe anyone promising guaranteed quick riches. They simply do not exist. Second, don't invest your hard-earned cash in things you don't fully understand, whether that's some complex stock option or the latest trendy crypto coin. Third, never risk money you cannot afford to lose, like your rent money. And lastly, please do not compare your literal starting line to someone else's year 5 highlight reel. Everyone starts exactly where you are right now.
So, if you take away just one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this. Turning $100 into $1,000 isn't some secret magic trick reserved for the elite. It's actually a proven, maybe even boringly effective framework. Start small, learn continuously, and stay consistent. True financial growth happens quietly in the background. It's really just hundreds of small, smart, rational decisions repeated again and again over time until they snowball into something completely life-changing. Which brings us to the ultimate question I want to leave you pondering today. What habit are you going to build with your next $100? Your initial cash might not change your life overnight, for sure, but I guarantee you the habits you build with it absolutely can. It's time to start using your money as a tool to build your future rather than just a way to survive today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep building those smart habits.